Welcome to the Hue Jackson Show, brought to you by State Farm. Nathan Zgur alongside the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Hue Jackson. Coach, it's our final show of the year, so we're going to do kind of a little bit of a reflection on obviously what was a tough season for everybody involved with the Cleveland Browns. But one thing that's come through this season, despite all the hardship of last year and this year, it's the players' belief in you. And they were asked about it a lot this week. They all stood up for you. Why do you think you've been so effective in being able to reach these guys despite kind of the chaos around with the record?
You know, I always say I give it back to the players. You know, I think when you're very honest with them and you're very forthcoming about anything and everything that happens within our football team, within our organization, I think they kind of will follow you. I try to be the same person each and every day. I don't try to be too high or too low. I try to be my normal self with them. I try to, like I said, give them honest feedback about what I think's good, about what I think's bad. If I make a mistake, I let them know that too. There's things that I can always continue to do better as well, we as a staff. But I think our guys get that every day we're working. We're trying to be the best versions of ourselves. We haven't done that yet, but I think they know that we're working at it. And I think when you do that, I think good things happen.
I know Amy Trask, who's with you in Oakland. I know players who played for you in Cincinnati, some of your receivers there. And leadership has always been the one thing they've said about you, leadership. So I want to ask you, not what makes you such an effective leader, but who are your leadership role models that you tried to kind of emulate and then take that into your role as the head coach here?
Well, when I think back through my career, the people that I've been around who I've always admired that were leaders, that I was a part of their staff, one was Marty Schottenheimer. You know, being with him at the Washington Redskins, and we started 0-4 there. And so I know what that was like to come back from that and play really well. And obviously being around Steve Mariucci, my time with him at Cal, and then John Harbaugh, you know, Marvin Lewis. I mean, it kind of goes on and on for me. You take little bits and pieces from people you've been around. You know, you don't become them, you become yourself, but you learn how they handled adversity because it's been a tough time. And so I've had to use a little bit of everybody that I've been around to handle this the right way.
Yeah, and well, one good news is time keeps moving on, things move on, and 2018 is right around the corner. And since it is our final show, we'll do a little bit of a look ahead. And I got to tell you, when I hear you talk about John Dorsey and your conversations about John Dorsey, you sound so energized. Why is that? Because
I truly think that John's going to make a huge difference to this organization. I think he was brought here for a reason, to help this football team and organization become what we truly want it to become. There's a like-mindedness between us about what it takes to win in this division and what type of football team we want to be. And I'm very comfortable with him. I think he's very comfortable with me. We don't hold back when it comes to anything. The conversations are always good, strong, great back and forth. And I think when you do it that way, good things can happen.
What's one thing either you shared with him that he really agreed with, or he shared with you that you got excited about, that really does have you excited for where this organization will be 1 year from today?
Win now. That's what this is all about. I think we both get that this is an entertainment business. There's no fun in losing. You know, this is truly about winning. That our fans, that our players have suffered long enough that way, you know, regardless of what the reasons are. Let's see if we can get this organization, this football team, to winning as fast as we can. We feel we have the resources to do that. Now it's about making great decisions as we move forward.
Well, one guy who's certainly going to help with that, winning the #1 overall pick in this year's draft, Myles Garrett, had a big sack against the Bears. Let's take a look at that in our Papa John's play breakdown.
3rd down and 9. He's back. He's up in the pocket. They got him for a big sack. As the Browns blow through and Myles Garrett got him. His 6th sack of his rookie season.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at this. It's 3rd and 9. Obviously, you want to get after the quarterback. You're showing an interesting formation here. 2 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and 5 DBs in a nickel look.
Right. So we play in a lot of different packages. That's Coach Williams' style. This is one of our packages that we play in, and you gave the numbers. And obviously, we have 2 defensive linemen in there, which is Myles Garrett and Cooley. And as you can see, Myles starts out at the offensive tackle and headbutts him, is able to get underneath. And boy, what a tremendous tackle and speed and aggression right there to finish the sack. Now, there's a snow angel that he happens to make afterwards.
Oh, we got it for you. We got it for you, Coach. Don't worry. We get it for you.
But again, I just think in the different packages we play, it makes it tough on the offense to know exactly where we're coming from.
Yeah.
You have 2 defensive linemen in the game. Myles is normally a defensive end. He's down inside. Where is he rushing from? Where are these two linebackers that are playing on the edge rushing from? And where are these other two linebackers inside are rushing from? So it causes a little confusion along with some games inside, and we're able to get home.
Yeah, and as you see it unfold, Joe actually ends up dropping. The middle linebackers do that middle dog cross. And it kind of causes confusion over here, and the tackle setting to get Chobert, and all of a sudden Miles hits him and says, hey, I think I'm just going to come right up the middle.
Absolutely.
And accelerates in for the sack. And it looked like that's what we call a meeting at the quarterback. Absolutely. A lot of guys got there.
Like you say, number one, sacks number two.
That's right. That's right. And here it comes, Coach. There it is.
There's a snow angel.
How would you score that snow angel then?
I'd give him a 2 on that one.
He
can do better than that.
Right, well, maybe we'll have an opportunity again this Sunday. We'll have an opportunity to bring you more of the Hue Jackson Show right after this. Coming up on the Hue Jackson Show, Justin Currie talks with Matt Wilhelm about his big sack against the Bears.
It was a pretty surreal moment. You know, I was just trying to do my part to help this defense out and help the team win.
Welcome back to the Hue Jackson Show. Nathan Zgur alongside the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Hue Jackson. And coach, as they say in the NFL, next man up. And Derek Kindred goes down. You need some people to step up. One of them, Justin Currie, who was with you early in the year, was gone for a while, back, comes in, big sack against the Bears, made some nice plays. What do you think about young Justin Currie?
You just said it. He's another young player in our organization who I think, you know, again, is going to have a chance to contribute to our football team in the future. He has a different and unique skill set because he can play, you know, in the secondary. He can play closer to the line of scrimmage. He can cover tight ends. He can cover running backs. And he's physical enough to bounce around in there with those offensive linemen. So I think he's going to be another piece as we move forward that we can play in a lot of different places in our defensive packages.
Well, a lot of people get opportunities. Not all of them make the most of them. Currie did that, and he talks about that with our Matt Wilhelm in the Northeast Ohio BMW Center's Play Walkthrough.
3rd down and 5. 3 receivers right. Here's Trubisky back, and he got drilled. What a play as the Browns blow in and make the play on the sack. Justin Currie. He blew through there like Kindred did and really playing that role, and he nails Trubisky all the way back at the Bear 40-yard line.
Hey, it's Matt Wilhelm here with Brown safety Justin Currie. And Justin, last week, early in the game, not ideal circumstances, but you got an opportunity to play early and you showed up. Just walk us into that blitz, walk us into that play in your first NFL sack.
You know, so it was a safety nickel blitz, me and Jabril, and it was a great call by Coach. Jabril did a great job really setting that tackle and opened up a big window for me to go in there and make the play.
And what was it like for you, you know, as a guy who's, you know, just getting into the, you know, going in the NFL, to make that early play and to make an impact, and maybe this late in the season, make an impact to the minds of these coaches and these decision makers here for the Browns?
You know, it was a pretty surreal moment. Me, from being from Michigan, you know, it's every kid's dream of playing in the snow on a Sunday. So, I mean, making the play, and, you know, I was just trying to do my part to help this defense out and help the team win.
And you were here much of the offseason, training camp with the Cleveland Browns. How much does that help you, just being familiar with the system, so that Greg and Hue could trust you being on the football field, setting up and making that play?
You know, it's been quite the journey this year, and, you know, getting hurt in this past preseason, and, you know, my mindset getting back was, you know, making sure I remember all the plays, and, you know, just being ready and being in shape, and, you know, going through the offseason with Coach Greg and Cruzy. It was, you know, they would do a great job of instilling the defense in us, and, you know, making it pretty much easy to come back and just hop in and just play without thinking much.
And I know for me as a former player, one of the things that I missed the most was the guys, the locker room, and being out on the football field again. How great was it and fulfilling for you to be back in that locker room with your guys, you know, at it around the holiday time, and then going out and actually playing in the games?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a great feeling. You know, we have great guys in this locker room, and it's just fun to play with them and, you know, have moments like that.
And anything to look forward to? Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 17. It's one last opportunity to really make your mark before your offseason starts.
You know, this is a great divisional rivalry. I'm just honored to be able to be a part of it, and you know, hopefully get this W and, you know, give this city the win it deserves.
Well, great sack last week, and good luck against the Steelers.
Oh, thank you.
Got it.
Coach, you talked about Justin Currie. You know, he's got a skill set. Kindred's got a skill set. Jabril Peppers has a skill set. You're starting to feel that you're maybe bringing some pieces together so you can have some nice competition in that safety room headed into next year, knowing you probably need to add more of a true center fielder.
Absolutely, we do. You know, because again, all those guys that you just mentioned, they're young.
Yep.
You know, so we're going to be able to mold these guys into what we need them to be. They now have quite a bit of football played under their belt, you know, so I think that's something else because there's real life game reps that these guys have had. So I think they're going to be obviously the foundation, but you said it, we're going to continue to add to that group so that we can have it be the best we can make it.
All right, speaking of another young player, we're going to hear from one of the bright spots on that defensive line when the Hue Jackson Show returns. Next on the Hue Jackson Show, we talk with Larry Ogunjobi, who has had an impressive rookie season on the Browns' defensive line.
It's been amazing just the journey so far, you know, be able to come out here and be able to play, then just to see the things I saw has been a real blessing.
Welcome back to the Hue Jackson Show. Coach Jackson here with us, and Coach Larry Ogunjobi, one of the young players on your defensive line. He was the first pick of the 3rd round this year. He's been a real disruptor, a tackle for loss guy all year. Finally got that first sack against the Bears. What have you seen from Larry?
I just seen a young player that's getting better week by week. He walked in here wanting to learn, wanting to be better, was never satisfied with just being out there, wanting to make a difference, and you're starting to see that. He's starting to make plays. He's very disruptive in offensive teams' backfield, and he needs to continue to do that.
Yeah, we talked to him about that first sack. Actually, I had the opportunity to sit down with him in our Universal Windows Player Spotlight. Here with Browns rookie defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. Larry, good to be with you.
Good to be here.
All right, so it's been a long season. I'm sure for a rookie it seems very long coming off of college. Kind of what's it been like for you overall, thinking about when maybe the first time you and I spoke to where you are right now?
It's been amazing just the journey so far, you know, be able to come out here and be able to play. You know, I wasn't sure if they were going to let me play or not, but to be able to play the amount of snaps I've played and just to see the things I've saw has been a real blessing so far. So I'm excited for the future. I mean, I know the season isn't what anybody really wanted, but I feel like, you know, sometimes you have to go through those trials and tribulations in order to get to where you really want to go in the future. So I'm optimistic.
Well, and you know that better than anybody. I mean, you literally started a college program at Charlotte, were in tough times, and then became the first player ever from that program to be drafted. So have you been able to talk to other guys kind of about that experience going from we had nothing and look where we made it and we can do this?
Yeah, like a couple of my teammates, like me and Caleb talk a lot, me and Miles talk a lot, but the one thing I try to tell everybody is that, you know, right now it like really sucks because, you know, you're grinding, you're working, you're doing all these things, but like you're not seeing, you know, the fruition of it. But the biggest thing is just understanding that when you keep, you know, you keep pounding at that rock, you keep chipping away, and one day it's gonna break. And like for me, I got drafted and, you know, from a school that, you know, nobody even heard about. So to be able to do that and then, you know, talk about it is a real blessing to a lot of guys. So I tell them, you know, you just kind of have to roll with the punches and just really be optimistic and understand that, you know, as long as we control, you know, our attitude, our effort, and, you know, every day we just go out and give it our best. Like we're gonna look up and be like, wow, like we're here, and then look back and see like all the things that we had to do to get to that point. So, like I said, we just gotta stay positive.
When you got drafted, were you thinking about when getting to go into the NFL, the first time that you were gonna get a big tackle for a loss? You're an interior defensive lineman, or were you thinking about getting your first sack?
I was actually talking to Caleb about it. I said it was funny because I got my first sack when we played Chicago in the preseason.
This past week, yeah.
In the preseason, and then we played Chicago, and I was like, watch me get a sack. And then sometimes God works in mysterious ways. So yeah, it's been exciting though. The
Soldier Field has been good to you in terms of getting your sack. So what went through your mind when you saw it? Did you know you were gonna get him, and once you got him, what was going through your mind?
So the play was kind of funny because I had put the offensive lineman on the ground and I saw his leg, so I just jumped. I jumped and I rolled. And I saw him fall over, the ball was still in his hand, and I got up and I celebrated. I was excited. Yeah,
was that kind of like the jump and roll drill you guys do where you're doing that alligator tackle?
Pretty much.
So one of those drills?
It came to use.
You got one more opportunity Sunday against the Steelers. How important is it for you guys to all just go in there and get that win?
I think it's huge, not only for, you know, us as players, but for the whole organization, just to go out there and, you know, to find a way to get a win. I think the biggest thing is just finding a way to get a win, like by any means necessary, whatever you have to do, like you have nothing to lose. So we have to go out there, we have to play fast, we have to, you know, do all the little things right and just really go out there and have fun.
Coach, we talked about it. Kind of a natural disruptor in the middle of a defense. And you look at Greg Williams' defenses when they're at their best. They have that guy that can collapse the pocket and help guys like Myles Garrett and Agba in the end and be disruptors. Aaron Donald obviously stands out. Now, Aaron Donald's a very special player, but what can Larry do? What does he need to do to become that every down player for you in this defense?
I think take the next step. The growth of the offseason, really preparing, coming back in great shape, going through our offseason programs, start to truly master Greg Williams' defensive system and go make the plays that we know he can make because he's talented enough to do that.
He is, and he's a guy who's come through starting a college program at Charlotte, so he kind of knows about this building and knows what it takes to get to that next level, and we will see that hopefully this Sunday against the Steelers, and we'll preview that game when the Hue Jackson Show returns. And finally, it's the final game preview of the year as we look at the Browns and the Steelers in Week 17. Welcome back to the final edition of the Hue Jackson Show for 2017. Coach, one more opportunity on Sunday to go out there and get that win. What would it mean to you to get that W?
It'd mean everything. Obviously, it's the last opportunity. I think our players have worked extremely hard. I think they deserve that. You know, to go out and end the season with a win would be tremendous for all involved. But we know there's a lot of work in that. In doing so, we got to play our best football game. We're playing against a really good football team. I think we get all that. But I truly believe our men are going to rally and give it everything they have and go out and do everything we can to win this game.
What do you want to see from them on Sunday?
What I want to see is us do the things that we know it takes to win football games. Again, create turnovers on defense, eliminate turnovers on offense, eliminate penalties in special teams, and play complementary football. If we can do that, then I think we will have walked out of here learning some real lessons from 2017.
How hard was it against Chicago when you finally got that play? We've been desperate. Somebody make a game-changing play. You get it from the guy that you want to give it to, Myles Garrett, and it comes back from somebody being lined up in the neutral zone.
We have to continue to put ourselves in position to make those plays. We got to make sure we do the things right, that when we do make them, that those plays stand on their own merit and not because of all of a sudden something we didn't do right. So we have some work to do, and we do get that.
So barring something crazy, the Jets beating the Patriots in New England when they need to win to clinch the #1 seed, the Steelers are locked in that #2 seed. Mike Tomlin said, I'm not sure if I'm going to play my starters or not. Does that make it hard in preparation when you don't know if you're getting, I imagine preparing for Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell is a little bit different than Landry Jones and Stephen Ridley?
Oh, absolutely. But we truly believe they're going to play their guys. We have to look at it that way. I don't think we see it any other way. I mean, this is the National Football League. Normally teams want to put their best players out there. I know they're guarding injuries and those things, but we're going to play. And we understand that if they put their best out there, we're going to be ready for that. And if they don't, we're ready for that too.
Do you think is there going to be any stone unturned in this game? Is this where you're going to dig deep into all those bag of tricks you have and just kind of say, we're going all out. We got to get it done.
We have all those things, but I think we just got to go play to our identity and be who we are and then see if our guys can go be at their best, be the best version of themselves in this game. And let's walk away from 2017 seeing how this record unfolds, which we don't like where we are, but we do have a chance this week to win a game and then go from there.
Coach, it's always been a pleasure to do this show with you. Looking forward to next year and kind of turning the page. I'm sure the new year can't come soon enough for you. Get that win, head into the next year with some momentum, and come back for what should be a very, very big 2018 season. So thanks for being with us all season long.
Thank you, and thanks for all you do. Appreciate it.
We certainly do appreciate you, and certainly the game preview brought to you by Papa John's this week. As you know, all year, the Hue Jackson Show brought to you by State Farm. Thank you so much for your support of this show. And on Sunday, 11 a.m., Browns Countdown, the season finale, the Browns and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for being with us, and go Browns.